Okay. So we're going to take whatever this code is, whatever function, because what you were supposed to do is write a regex that would find any date. And the format of that date would be would be day / month / year. It doesn't matter if it was 99th day of the 99th month of the 9,999th year. It was going to find anything, and that's what when you sent me that message and you said 01 through 31.
Yeah, I didn't really understand how that specific thing worked.
Yeah, it looked for a 0, a 1, a hyphen, a 3, or a 1. So you would have had to have typed 0, 1, 2, 3, you know, all those as opposed to just \d.
All I did was I did brackets 0 through 9, and it was a lot easier to like format because like you have all the backslashes and you like get lost.
Yeah, which is why, yeah, you do get all the backslashes, which is why I did it with verbose, and I was able to do new lines, and then that's a separator and separator.
Yeah, mine still works.
Oh, if it works, then baller. And then what it's supposed to do is return, and obviously I didn't finish this, but we're going to do it together. We're going to have this function be imported into our new file. So from now on, anything you know you're going to use often, and this is one that once you write it, you really don't want to try to figure it out all again. You just want to run it. So we're going to save this in a specific spot, and then it will cycle through any date you give it. So this is, depends on how you write it, but the real big part is figuring out whether or not something is a leap year or not. So if you take a year, the way you do it is if the year is divisible by 4, and that equals 0, then you can do another if, then we're going to do an else, and we're going to print ignore this if, right? So if the year is divisible by 4, actually, if the year is not divisible by 4, we know it's immediately not a leap year. Is 1913 a leap year? No, because 13 is not divisible by 4, so we know instantly it's not a leap year. However, if it's divisible by 4, what does it also have to be divisible by?
Not 100? Wait, no.
Yeah, 400.
If it is divisible by 100, it is a leap year. Wait, no it's not.
If it's divisible by 100, it's not a leap year, even if it's divisible by 4, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so if the leap year divided by 100 equals 0, then we're going to throw another if, but we need an else.
Wait, you have to do, wait, I'm so confused now. The percent one, sign, what does that do?
Means if you divide the year by 100, what is the remainder? So if I were to do 200 divided by 100, what's the remainder?
Wait, okay, 2. Wait, 0.
0. And if I were to divide 4 by 3, what's the remainder?
1.
Yeah, so that's what that is. So this is if the remainder of year being divided by 100 equals 0. Then what we do, okay, so this is, I was starting to screw up. So if it's divisible by 4, and also divisible by 100, and that's it, then it is a, hang on, what does this answer say? If else is a leap year. Yeah, that should work, right?
Because
Gosh,
that
I'm an
means
idiot.
if it's divisible by 4 but not 100, then it's a leap year.
It is a leap year. Yeah, so that's what this is saying. So if it is divisible by 100, then you go to if it's divisible by 400 equals 0. If it's not divisible by 100, it is a leap year. So just this flipping screwed me up. So if it's divisible by 4, if it's divisible by 100, and if it's divisible by 400, it is a leap year. So we're going to print, then else print is not a leap year. Now again, this is code that once you figure it out, you really don't want to have to try to figure it out again.
Yep.
So, does everyone understand this? So if it's divisible by 4, and it's divisible by 100, and it's divisible by 400, then it is a leap year. If it's divisible by 4, and divisible by 100, and not divisible by 400, then it is not a leap year. If the year is divided by 4, and it's divisible by 100, and it's not divisible by 100, then it's a leap year. Confusing, right? Okay. So, geez, I forgot we have to do all this. We're just gonna do the leap year. So I'll deal with all this later. And we're gonna assume year. So, let's say this is all we're doing is leap year. Our code is for solely a leap year, because I don't wanna try to figure out everything out, we only have limited time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start a new file. And what this is gonna do is we should probably return the answer instead of just print. Because if we want a variable to say yes or no, we need to, if we want this to be a value returning function so that we can do stuff with it later. That's a terrible, terrible explanation. Who does not understand why I'm putting return? We could return false too.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, let's do return false. So return true, false. So return true, shift n, false.
What does shift n do?
Say what?
What does shift n do?
It will, so if I'm right here, if I hold end, it takes me to the end of the line, but if I hold shift and end, it highlights to the end of the line.
Oh, okay.
So what we'll put false means the year is not a leap year. True means the year is a leap year. Should we, let's just make sure year is an integer, in case they accidentally type in a string. Okay, so this is our leap year. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this, and we're going to save it leap year. Now where we need to save this is in a very specific spot. We're going to go to local disk. It may already take you to the right spot. If you're in Python 38/whatever, if you're in there, then you're fine. But if not, you go to local disk. You're going to go, is it this one? Hang on. Yeah. So depending on if you installed it for just yourself or if you installed it for all users. I think I made you guys do it for all users when you did it, but maybe not. So,
Yeah, for me it's in the program files.
okay, so the older class, maybe not, I can't remember. So we'll start if you installed it for all users, because that's the shorter one. So you're going to go to Program Files,
Wait, which one? I have
x86.
x86. And then you're going to go, you should see Python 38-32. If you do not, chillax, I'll show you where it is in the other one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna double click Python 3832. I think it's lib. Yeah. So you're gonna go to lib. To make sure it's the right spot, if you wanna scroll down to the like R's, and if you see random, you're in the right spot. So we're gonna do leap year, and we're gonna save it. Wait, what do you mean I don't have permission to save in this location?
Maybe you're not admin.
I am admin.
That doesn't make sense.
Wow, that's frustrating. Alright, so we're just gonna save this to my desktop real quick. And then I go to my desktop. Where is my folder? So desktop, maybe I can copy and paste it in there. So if I copy this, copy x86 Python lib. Oh, see, I can copy it in there, but I can't save it in there? That doesn't make sense. Alright, were you all able to save it or no?
No.
Okay, if you're not, then what you'll want to do, save it to your desktop and copy and paste it into that location. For some reason, you all are admins, so you should be able to do that. It'll give you a little, you gotta be an admin to do this, and you'll see a blue yellow shield. Click OK or whatever. Were you all able to get Thorn? Were you able to?
Mine wasn't in program files 86, so I assume maybe I have it only installed for this profile or something.
Yeah, so I'll show you where to get to that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start at local disk C.
Yep.
You're gonna go to users. You're gonna go to your name. Now, do you have app data? Can you see app data folder?
Not at this point.
Okay.
Let's see.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go up to this view tab,
Yep.
click view.
Wait, let me. I don't seem to have a view tab. Let me see if I can make this bigger.
You should. Are you saving something, or are you trying? If you're just navigating it in File Explorer, you should.
Wait, do we just save it straight
I
to?
wasn't in File Explorer. I was actually using the Save As.
Oh, okay.
Should I be in File Explorer instead?
Yeah, open up File Explorer or File. Yeah.
Wait, so do we save to live or is there a subcategory?
You just saved a lib, and if you've saved it, you're fine. What you then, if you want to test it, so while Thorn is doing that, I'll show you guys how to test it. Open up your shell. If you can import the name of the file, then you're golden. Now I can do valid.
Oh, I found app data. I
Wait.
clicked on hidden items.
You don't have permission to save in this location. Wait, that's what you said earlier, right? What? It's actually annoying.
1990s not. Oh, now I might screw something up. Okay, Thorn, do you have app data?
I clicked on hidden items and it shows up.
Okay, yep, double click app data,
Yep.
then local,
Yep.
and then programs.
Let's see, programs. Is it just called programs?
Yep, just a file called, or a folder called programs.
There we go.
In there, you should see Python 3832.
It just says Python.
Oh, yeah, that,
Oh, Python 39.
there you go. And then you should see a folder called lib.
Yep.
That location, that lib, any file you want to import into Python, that is where you save it. Don't save it as typically one word. So leap year in mine, as you can see, is one word. Don't delete anything from in there, because if you delete random, then you can't do the random number and you have to re-download or reinstall.
How do you save from within File Explorer?
So what you'll want to do, Thorn, is go up here with, it's like the URL,
Yep.
copy that,
Oh, okay.
and then when you save, when you go File, Save As,
You just type that in.
well, you just paste it up
Yeah,
here.
paste it in.
Yeah, okay, and then hit enter, and then you'll be able to save it. False, true, is that the correct way? Adam, if you have a question, you can just start talking.
Yeah, so I had the same thing as Thorin, but I didn't have the app data.
So what you need to do is in File Explorer, not Save As, you need to click this checkbox. So you click the View tab up here, then you click Hidden Items. And watch, the difference is...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so then you'll go to App Data, Local, Programs, scroll down a little bit to hit Programs. I don't have it because I installed it in a different spot, but you should see Python, and then Python 30, whatever, and then lib with a capital W, or a capital L. Lib with a capital W.
Oh, of course.
Will, are you good? He just shrugged his shoulders. He's still looking. Are you two good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan? Doran?
So how do
Yeah, I
I
can
test it
import it.
works though?
You go to the shell and import leap year. Maddie, are you good? Okay.
Wait, import leap year.
Whatever you named the file.
Oh yeah. So that okay. I named it valid.
Valid? Oh.
That's the function name, so I just like
Might want to be careful on that. Adam, did you get yours?
I don't see programs. Like when I go to local.
Are you in local?
Yeah.
And you scroll down and you don't see a folder called programs?
No.
Okay, so then you might have installed it in a different spot. So go back to local disk, C, program files, x86.
It wasn't there before.
Oh, you checked here too?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Is there a way to see like where my Python's installed then?
Actually, that's a good question. I think so. I just don't know how to do it. Here, let's just after class, share your screen, and I'll fix it. I'll go through it. We'll
Okay.
find it. But until then, so is 1990 a leap year?
I don't think so.
It shouldn't be, because 2000 would be a leap year.
I don't think it's divisible. It's not divisible.
It's divisible by 4.
But not
That's
by
not.
100, but it is divisible by 100, but it's not by 400.
Like
1990 is not divisible by 100.
It's not divisible by 4 either.
Well, 2000 was a leap year, so if you just count back from 4s.
Wait,
Well,
is 90?
90 because it ends with
90
0. It's
Oh
divisible
gosh, I'm an idiot.
by that.
90 is not divisible by 4.
Yeah, what? I was confused there.
I was making sure you guys are paying attention. There you go.
I don't
Wait,
we
so
were
if
working.
you function in the file, then.
So once you have this in here, once you have the file correctly saved, if you try to import it, so import leap year. Okay, good. Then I do valid 1990. I get an error. So what you have to do is leap year dot valid
Yeah, that's what I was.
1990. Just like, remember, if we import random, and then we do rand int from 0 to 100, we get an error saying rand int is not defined. Because we need to do random dot rand int 0 to 100. So it's the same thing. You're still gonna have to tell it from this module, use this function. There's two ways you can not do that. You can do from leap year import valid, and now valid 1990,
So you can put like a bunch of functions in one file.
and import certain one of them. Yeah.
That's cool.
This is also a good way if you, not good, but if, for my sake, when I show you passwords like how to log into Amazon and how to do all of this, I obviously don't want you all to see my password, but I also don't want people on YouTube to see my password. So what I do is I have a file saved in that same location, filled with all of my variables, you know, Amazon password or whatever. And then from that file, I import those variables and then I use them. So that you only see password the variable password, but it's loading in my actual password. So you can do that too. I don't know if that's great security. Maybe if you encrypt that other file and encrypt the drive or whatever, I'm not 100% sure. But this is how you create your own modules. You can also do from leap year import star, which pulls in everything and gets rid of you having to type in leap year in front of your whatever. You can also import leap year as LP and then LP dot valid 1990 or 100. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does everyone understand how to do that and how to import your own modules? Once you have the file saved there, it's just as if you're using random. Random.randint, random.uniform, all that.
When does class end?
113 or 115?
Because my mom wants me to leave early, so I'll just leave before class then. Because there's no.
Well, you have 10 minutes left of class.
Yeah. Okay. So good.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll just do it.
If you edit this file and then save it, will it save in the folder just like, and then the modified one will be available to import?
Yeah, so let's say return, let's just, and I don't want to run it, so I save it. What do you mean I can't save here? I'm an admin. I should totally be able to do this.
But we can. But you can't. That's kind of.
If you guys can,
I can.
It lets me.
Oh, you can't save. I had to save it somewhere else and then move it.
oh, this must have been updated.
I moved my file to I think that's what you said earlier.
I mean, yeah, that's. Okay, hang on. Maybe if we properties. I think we can open this. General. Allow this file to have copies.
Are we allowed to use modules and tests and stuff?
Yep. If you write it, you can.
I'm gonna write modules for fun and see if they ever come on use.
All right, I'm not 100. I off the top of my head, you must be an administrator. That's new. So I'm sorry that I don't have a way to work around that real quick. You may just have to save it into another spot and copy it over. So I apologize for that. Don't save. But that is how you make your own file and your own modules. Questions? So for your regexes, you could save it there, and then if you have, no, that's not really going to work because you're going to have to make the regex every time. But your taxes or, let's say you wrote code that allowed you to create your own interface, and then you want that to be your blank slate every time, and then add to it, you can import that. Import random, import taxes, import gravity. I'm not 100% sure what that one does, but I think it allows you to float. So, questions, comments, concerns? No. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we need to do some prep work. So what I would do if I were you is open up File Explorer. And we're going to talk a little bit about what you need to know about reading and writing files. Does everyone have it open? Stockton?
Yeah, I have a file for them.
Okay.
They're just asking me about. She's like, please answer. She was like asking me to leave.
Alright. So one of the things I would recommend is up again in this view tab, you'll want to click file name extensions. And what that allows you to do is it tells you the extension of the file. So you'll see Python scripts, .bat.py.text. Does it show you over here? Yes. Do they have different icons? Most of the time. I like having that just so I just like having it and I recommend it. So, now there are two things I want you all, ooh, nope. There are two things that determine where a file is located in a computer. You have the file name and the file path. So the path is the address of where it's located. So like Maddie's home address is the file path, but once you get to the home, it could go to you, your mom, your dad, your any siblings you have, your dog, your cousin, whoever lives there. So these three files technically all have the same name, but why can all three of them be in the same spot? They're different types of files. So that's like saying there's a girl named Maddie, there's a guy named Maddie, and there's a dog named Maddie. Three different distinct things, however, they're both the same name. So that's okay, but as soon as I try to make something that has the same name and file extension, it'll say, hey, something that name already exists, do you want to replace it? Replacing it will overwrite whatever's there. So it deletes what was there and saves the new thing. It doesn't like add on. So, right here, whatever you have up here, this is always the location of this folder. So this folder, Python scripts, is in root C. Root C means it's in once you open the C folder, it's not then located in another folder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I were to say, look in C, look in my C drive, well, is the folder I'm looking for in one of these folders, or is it chilling there like this file?
Oh, okay.
So if I say, hey, it's in root of C, that means that file or that folder is right there. It's not then located in something else. So if I said Python scripts is located in the root of C, that means if I click on C, it's right there. So that file, if it's in the root of Python scripts, that means it's going to be right there. So if I go to C, program files, hey, program files, it's in, actually let's do app data. I know there's stuff there. So that file is located in the root of app data local. I now know that, and once I'm in app data local here, I don't need to go anywhere else because it's right at the bottom here. Because that's just how I have things, that's how Microsoft automatically sorts things. By default, it's the folders and then all of the files. So make sure you scroll down to check, because if you're just here and go, I don't see it, you need to scroll down. So this up here again, what is this called?
File path.
The file path, but then there's also the file name, which we went over with the Python. In Python scripts, you can have 3 different files, all with the same name, but as long as they're different types of files, you're A-okay. File path and a file name. Oh, and then the last thing, the extension, that just tells you what type of file it is. It also tells the computer what type of application to open it in. So you can say, open anything that's .txt in this program. And then it will automatically do it. Open anything that's .py in Atom or Mu or idle or this or that, and it will do it. You guys have any questions? I'm not really going to go over Mac just because none of you guys and lady are currently using Mac. Does anyone here prefer a Mac? Raise your hand. Zoomers? No, no one in here? Okay, so let's skip all that. Linux, you can join. Oh, yeah. Okay. So right now, before I go into the actual coding part, I just wanna go over concepts, right? And then we'll deal with this on Wednesday, potentially. So, one thing you need to also worry about is your current working directory. Does anyone have any ideas what that means?
Like what files are like, it's where the file that you're working in currently, like, where that file is, like, I guess, saved.
Yes. So, if I were coding, the current working directory is wherever my file that I'm working on is currently saved. That's just by default. You can change it to be wherever you want, and by doing that, what that allows you to do is it allows you to access the files in that in that directory, in that folder. So if I open my code here in this current working directory, and I wanted to access something in my documents, I'd either have to change the working directory or do an absolute file path. And on that note, absolute file path, we'll end class. We'll see you all Wednesday, and we'll continue with this and go over a little bit more about all this sort of stuff conceptually, and then it should make sense when you go through it coding-wise. All right, everyone, have a great day. I'll see you Wednesday.